Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Let's Play Planet Coaster here on Theme Park Worldwide, where in this episode I'm going to be continuing with my indoor theme park. That's right, it's this mini-series that I'm doing, 4 episodes of actually building this park, and then 1 where I'm going to be operating it. So yeah, this is number 3. Of course, I've only got 1 more episode of the build, and you might be thinking, blimey, there's still a lot of work to be done on this, especially with how heavily detailed I like doing my projects. But don't worry, by the end of this episode, you'll really start to see a big difference to how it looks now here at the start. So just watch that gradual change throughout and how more details go in, filling in all that empty space. And yeah, I'll explain more about that as we continue with the episode. And yeah, episode 4 that'll be online next week. That'll be the final episode of the build for this. We'll then have a 5th episode where I'm going to name all the attractions and also operate the park. And yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing that with you all, giving you like a full tour of the park once it's complete. Yeah, it's an indoor amusement park. If you've only just caught up with the series, very different to anything that I've built before, because it will be fully indoors. There's going to be a roof on this building. There's going to be windows that I'll actually be putting in later in this episode, so you'll see the windows go in. And yeah, it's fully indoors. It's inspired by some of those indoor amusement parks around the world, like there's one in Canada. We used to have one at the Metro Centre in Gateshead, going on with that sort of feel, but very heavily themed with these different areas inside it. But yeah, as you've seen throughout the series so far, I've sort of been going in and doing like little bits in certain places, then stopping that bit and moving on to other rides, and that continues. It's just really, so I've been building the areas up bit by bit really, so it doesn't sort of become you know, like, oh, I've done all that area and then it doesn't fit with what I want to do on the other side. I've been building it up gradually, and as you can see, I'm starting off the episode here with a bit of work on the log flume and putting all that together before going over to one of the roller coasters, the Mediterranean themed roller coaster, and you'll see me head there shortly and start to add some more details onto that. Of course, lots of rocks going in. I did like one of the comments on episode 2, which was very funny. It made me laugh. I think it was something like, it's not an episode of Theme Park Worldwide Planet Coaster without all the different rocks. It's true, I like rocks. I just think they fill in the space really well. Hashtag rockwork. And you can see that I'm adding a lot around this, what is going to be a tropical style ride just here. But yeah, it's all about them little details for me with these projects, and that is all going to mostly come in the next episode. I mean, by the end of this one, you'll see that most of the space has been filled in. Hard to believe it at the moment, but it all comes together very quickly. What you're seeing here is about 6 hours of gameplay sped up into 20 minutes. So that just shows how much time it does take in Planet Coaster to put these creations together. But yeah, it's putting all these details in, as you can see, rocks, buildings. I'm going to add some more stuff onto these buildings shortly in terms of some wooden planks, some windows, chimneys, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, like, well, sort of a big part of this park is going to be lighting as well. However, I didn't want it to be a fully enclosed theme park. I did think about it at first. I was thinking a bit like IMG Worlds of Adventure out in Dubai. I went there a couple of years ago. It's worth seeing the vlogs if you've not seen them. And we went there, and it's a really nice indoor park, but there's no natural light coming in, and I didn't want to sort of make that mistake with this. I always said that had kind of worked with a bit of a retractable style roof, like not as in it lets all the air in, but as in just with the light, like a blind, so to speak, just in the ceiling would have worked in there better, just to let a bit of natural light in. That's what it lacked a bit. So with this, I wanted to make sure we've got some big open windows. However, of course, at night it still wants to look stunning with lighting, and there's going to be a big emphasis on that in episode 4, where I'm going to put a lot of lighting in, because I've hardly put anything in at the moment, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, in the last episode, I said that I was going to build another roller coaster in this corner, the final roller coaster to be going into this park. And yeah, a lot of people did comment saying, oh, you know, it's probably going to be a mine train coaster. It'd fit with, you said it was going to be a Wild West theme. And you are correct, yeah. I know some people were hoping that I was going to maybe think out the box a bit for the Wild West area and put something else in, but no, I have gone for a mine train coaster. I've not actually built one of these yet in Planet Coaster, so I thought, yeah, I'm going to put one in, and here you can see me starting to install it. It's only going to have the one lift hill to take you around most of the layout, but then because the station's raised up a bit there, it'll have a lift hill to take you up into the brake run as well, so not not the most of exciting layouts, but you've got to think it's quite a small space there to fit in this ride. Something like this would normally span over a bit more space in a real theme park. I mean, you think about Big Thunder Mountain, how much space that takes up, especially the version at Disneyland Paris. Like, that takes up a lot of space, and I love how that dives under the water like through a tunnel, which is really quite cool. But yeah, this is going to be quite compact. Like I say, it will feature 2 lift hills, but only one for the majority of the layout. The other one's just literally going to take you up into the brake run. But yeah, we've got some nice corners, a bit of banking. We're going to dig down into the ground shortly as well for this, just to give us a little bit of extra height. I didn't want the lift hill to be too ridiculously high with this one, because it is going to have more rocks around it again. I think I've used every different type of rock in the game inside this indoor park. I've used them all over the different parts that I've done, but this one features them all within one park. Like, it's crazy, isn't it? And it's in such a small space. But yeah, it's coming together quite nicely, this already. You can see it's just about smoothing it out a little bit. It doesn't need to be ridiculously smooth, this. It's, you know, it's a Vekoma mine train at the end of the day. You want them to be a little bit jolty in some places. But yeah, you can see there, nice bit of a helix round, flying over the top, causing a really nice near-miss element there, which is what you want as well. Quite a close head chopper. And that's the good thing with a lot of the rides in this park. It's going to have some really good head chopper elements that I personally really like on rides. I'm a firm believer that every ride out there should have head choppers, like just as theming items, whether it's just a plank of wood going across, some barrels. You know, it doesn't always need to be a building or something, or rocks. Just anything to just make you feel like, whoa, we're going to hit that. It just adds to that excitement of the ride, in my opinion. You know, I know some people might disagree, but that's just my personal opinion. I think that it really does add to it. So this is going to be that lift hill, what's going to take you up into the brake run. Obviously, normally I would have put this down on the ground, but we've already got the station for that dragon coaster underneath there as well. So yeah, like, it's tight for space, but I've managed to do it. I've fit in 15 rides into this park now, which is really good. That's exactly what I wanted to put in. I said back at the start of the series, and yeah, you know, I'm pleased that I've managed to do that in quite a tight space. I might have been able to put a couple more flats in some spaces actually, but I didn't want it to look too overcrowded. Like I say, this is a theme park, not an amusement park, so I wanted to make sure that it still had them themed elements and themed areas. And I know the themed areas aren't going to be flawless like they would be in a bigger park, because you are still going to see other areas and stuff from within them. However, when you are down at guest level, and you'll see plenty of that in that 5th episode where we just go around the park and I show you it all, you do realise, you know, actually I've done quite a good job of blocking the areas out. This is just the brake run going in just there. Obviously that'd be a maintenance shed up there as well, if it was a real theme park, and that's going to take you back round into the station. Going to run 2 trains on this coaster, and I'll show you an on-ride POV of it at the end of the episode once the theming's not complete, but it's, you know, maybe 70% complete. That's how I'd say the theming is for a lot of these rides in this park. Even the Schwarzkopf looping coaster at the back, it's not finished. You know, it's probably 65 to 70% finished. But like I said a few minutes ago, I want to sort of go round this park doing like different rides and then move on to the next one instead of completing them all. I didn't want to do it one by one like I normally would do. It's been building it all up gradually, you know, like 20% starting it all with the terrain and things around it, and then going back and adding buildings, then details to the buildings, and then landscaping. So that's exactly what I wanted to do with this one. But I must say, it's great to see that you're all enjoying this series. There's quite a few people who've commented saying it's the best part that I've built, which is crazy. I mean, I wasn't expecting that at all, not for it being such a small project, but it just goes to show, doesn't it? Size doesn't matter when it comes to theme parks. You can have some small parks out there, and look at Gröna Lund in Sweden. Like, that's a gorgeous park, and it's tiny, you know, but it's got a lot of rides packed into it. Really good amusement park, and it's got some nice themed elements in places as well. You know, so yeah, check out the vlog from there, Gröna Lund. I was out there last April actually. Had a great trip back there for my second visit. It's a great park. Sweden's got some great parks as it is, but that's one that I really enjoyed. You can see here some theming starting to go in around this Vekoma mine train. Starting off with the rocks, you can see lots of tunnels and different caverns and things are going to be created. Not all of it's going to be covered in rocks. It's mostly the top of the lift hill, the first drop, and some of these mid-ride helixes and drops just here that are having some of the rocks around them. This will also be one of the first rides that you see upon entering into this park. You're going to walk in through a little doorway down the bottom, just to the right hand side of the coaster, and it'll all just emerge in front of you, and you'll think, wow, like, look at this, you know, I've walked into this theme world. You'll see all these coasters, the Schwarzkopf at the back, and the Sierra star shape whizzing round. You know, it's really going to get you excited for this park, and that's exactly what I wanted to create. Anyone who's been to the Adventure Dome in Las Vegas, that's also a bit of inspiration for this, because that's like a big glass-roofed conservatory, and it's got a lot of natural light coming in. If, to be honest, it's got a bit too much, I would say. Like, I know it sounds a bit fussy of me, but you know what I'm like with my theme parks. Like, I feel like IMG, it was too dark, and Adventure Dome was too light. So this, I just wanted to get it right with the light levels, a bit of natural light coming in, and obviously we're going to have this roof, what I'll put on in the next episode, that final episode of building, where we will add the roof on. I don't plan on adding any stars or anything to the roof. It's mostly just going to be a blue sort of colour like the walls are. Some people said, why don't you add stars all the way round? Again, I think it'd be too dark. I don't want to be recreating nighttime in here. I want to be recreating daytime when it's daytime and nighttime at night, like you would do in a normal theme park environment, because we've got these massive open windows. I mean, they'd be huge, wouldn't they? I mean, you look at the size of that compared to the lift hill, massive windows, so it'd let in so much light, and you wouldn't really have to have your themed lighting on during the daytime. A few different chuck wagons, boxes, random bits of stuff everywhere, and there's a lot more random items to come into all of these areas, like all that around that like Arabian area, that's all coming in at some point. You know, there's so many smaller bits, but you can already start to see now towards the middle of point of this episode what I mean, that a lot of the empty space is already starting to be filled. So yeah, I'm pleased with it so far. That's going to be a little saloon, that building there. We're going to put a couple of food units in there. It's not going to be one that you can go into, but it'll look like a saloon from the outside. And this is just putting some rooftops on the buildings just there for the station. Obviously, you've got that Dragon Coaster station underneath, and then the brake run and the station for the Mine Train Coaster. Here's some more of them details going in, like I say, starting to go back to some of the other areas now. You'll notice there's some bins and paths have been put in. Also a little bit of lighting as well, all the way around. So yeah, you know, sort of added a few more paths and things around. Just starting to put the finishing touches in, so to speak, to some of these areas. This large little plaza in the middle there, that it's gone off now, but you saw it there. That's like an area where you could watch fireworks and things from, like indoor firework displays. I know that's something what a few places have tried before. Believe it or not, Alton Towers actually did an indoor firework display in the water park for New Year's Eve quite a few years ago. So that's quite interesting. So that's sort of thing that I'm looking at. In terms of the roof, what I did forget to mention just is that I'm going to put some more glass panels in on the roof as well. It's not just all going to be blocked in. There is going to be some glass panels on there. So it'll look similar to the windows, which there we are. I'm just starting work on just here. So this first one I wanted to experiment a bit with. I mean, I do a bit of copy and pasting for the other ones. They're not all the same size window, so it was a bit harder to do. But yeah, as you can see here, putting in these lovely glass panels that Planet Coaster put in quite a while back now, that are really, really good. Like, a lot of people requested them because they weren't in the game originally. And yeah, really good glass panels. And I'm just using these metal bars just upwards to create the window. And you can see that one's done there. It's just very repetitive process. But like I say, I do a bit of copy and pasting to get those done. Some more details going in there around the mine train. You see what I mean with this? I'm sort of going back and doing little bits. I think it keeps you a bit more sane when you're building something like this as well, because, you know, these theming, it's very complex, isn't it? These theming projects. So sometimes it's nice to not just work on one building for ages. I kind of like sort of nipping in, doing a little bit on that one. And you can see I've gone back to the Mediterranean bit now. It's putting details on here. I like doing that. And I think it's, you know, it just keeps it a bit more enjoyable well when you're playing this, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's about having fun. It's about creating the park of your dreams in this game. And yeah, it's just a bit more fun. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with a little bit of Planet Coaster audio for a few minutes, and then I'll be back shortly where I'm going to talk more about the park and also keeping them name suggestions coming in. So you've just seen over the last few minutes there how I've been adding in even more details around this park, filling in the space, and it's coming together really, really well. And you'll see that even more as we move into the next episode, filling in them spaces, and by the end of it, of course, the complete park. Just putting in a bit more rock work now, just on the Dragon Coaster there, just to create a bit more of a themed tunnel for that path that separates the Aztec style theming with the tropical area that we've got there as well. Anyway, I said back at the start of the episode that I'd take you for a little ride on the Mine Train coaster. So here we are, we've just left the station, climbing up the lift hill. Doesn't take long to get up there. This gives you a good idea of them views you're going to get of the other rides as well. And yeah, some really good near-miss elements on this. Very, very close. So keep your hands, arms, feet and legs inside the train at all times. Down we go. Speeding around a couple of those different helixes, bit of airtime. We've got the water tower there. There's lots of different special effects and stuff to come, what I'm going to add to all these rides, music and stuff as well. You know, there's a lot more still to be done in the next episode, but I'm pleased with how it's looking so far. But for me, it's them finishing touches that certainly make a theme park. And there we are, end of the ride, up that lift hill, and that'll take us round. Bit of a show scene there at the end, I'm thinking, inside that building, and back into the station. But I thought I'd end the episode by just showing you some visuals over the next couple of minutes, just so you can see the park with the rides testing and how it looks so far. That view is amazing, isn't it? Looking over the park with all the different rides. 15 different rides that are all themed in these 5 different areas in this park. And you can see the Schwarzkopf Looper there at the back, going round there, just about to make it down into the first loop. Oh, I love it. Zamperla Disco here in the foreground. Sierra Star shape there at the back. Just capturing the ambience and the sort of natural sounds of how this has all come together as well. Yeah, really pleased with it so far. Still a lot of details to go in. I don't know what that staff member's doing there. But get your name suggestions coming in. I also need a name for the park. I've been looking through lots of different names that you guys have been suggesting, and I absolutely love loads of them. So keep them coming in for the different rides that I've built. There'll be 15 names I'll be picking out, so loads of shout outs in that final episode, number 5. And also a name for the park, like I say. Get them coming in, and I look forward to sharing that with you all in episode 5. But not forgetting episode 4, where I'm going to complete all the theming, put the roof on, add lots more theming and details in around the park. And yeah, there's some areas might look complete now, but you know me, I like putting in them finishing touches that really make a park what it is. I'm Sean Sandbrook. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Let's Play Planet Coaster here on Theme Park Worldwide, and I'll be back next Sunday with episode 4. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.